I'm trying to focus only on evergreen advice, so I won't be doing specific tutorials for each activity, since the game changes every year, and any statement I make will age like milk. Besides, there will be 100 people making the same video whenever the pipe trips new content. Instead, I'll just talk about a subject I feel like will benefit those that want to learn, or are just curious. Let's start with a little bit of history. In summary, the brigantine is a specific type of sailing ship. It is a derivative from bandit. However, pirates did not invent the brigantine, they adopted it. Who did they adopt it from? Merchants. Specifically privateers. Think gig worker if it was 400 years ago. What did privateers use ships for? Mostly to transport cargo quickly. Basically, brigantines are cheap, fast ships for the purpose of making money. It just so happens these traits appeal to pirates and therefore became synonymous with piracy. What does this have to do with Star Citizen? Drake is a replication of brigantines, or cheap fast ships, for making money. What does this mean mechanically? It means Drake is designed to make money in PvP zones. Why would anyone work and make money in PvP zones? For the quick profit. In safe zones, shops are out of stock, trade centers offer insulting prices, and everyone and their grandmother already became rich 6 years ago using cheats and cheese methods. The competition and economy is ridiculous for new players, so you have to take risks and make money in Pyro and other similar star systems just to catch up. On a side note, this script was made a month before the 4.8 wipe, and I can't be bothered to rewrite the driving point of the opening paragraph. So I'll keep it in, and billionaire cheaters will be an inside joke for veterans, and new players will have to imagine a time when hyperinflation was so bad, people were paying randoms 50 million each person so they can fly fully crewed hammerheads, and they were paying 5 million for key cards because they couldn't be bothered to farm their own spaceships. There are basically four types of gamers: tourists, socializers, collectors, and unfortunately, killers. Killers are basically people that want to specifically kill those that can't fight back. Think a level 100 player killing level 1 players just for the sport of it. Not to be confused with killing a raid boss or regulated PvP. That is the activity of collectors, who are collecting items or titles. Killing is just a means to an end, not the goal itself. I'll try to shortcut this lecture. Peace is not a choice, it is the reward for winning. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, or what you say or do. You will have enemies whether you like it or not. The point is, even if you don't believe in war, someone, somewhere, is already at war with you. Basically, carry a big stick and speak softly. If you carry a big stick, others won't give you a reason to kill them. If you speak softly, you won't give others a reason to kill you. This won't translate to video games very well since gamers don't fear fake death. At the very least, make sure you are not easy to kill. Anyway, you can't put up a fair fight in a non-combat ship, but Drake ships have 3 layers of defense: stealth, firepower, and speed. If you cannot hide from your enemy, you scare them away. If you cannot scare them away, you run away. You're not there to pick a fight, you're there to make money. This will make more sense when there is permanent ship loss and no one wants to grind 40 hours a week to buy a new spaceship. The Golem and Golem Ox. Think farmer and chef. Technically, one person can do both jobs, and one job cannot exist without the other. However, it is simply better to divide the workload. The farmer farms, the chef cooks for money. The miner mines, the hauler trades for money. When it comes to mining, I highly recommend you don't mix lasers and modules and gadgets with different stats. It is simply better to stack the same stats. Personally, I just use the Golem, focus modules, and the wave shift gadget. I see a lot of wrong assumptions about the Golem, so I'll make it simple to understand. The Pitman laser is weak, unstable, and slow. However, it is cheap, and most importantly, easy to operate. Why do we call children miners? Because for thousands of years, humanity made children dig for gold. The point is, the Golem is supposed to be so easy, even a child can operate it. The Golem is a snub you would use in teams, 2 for the Ironclad, and however many extra bags you can fit. But that is endgame gameplay for orgs that can operate multiple fleets of mining and cargo ships for the purpose of mass-scale crafting. To put it simply, the gameplay loop you want to do is mine, refine, and sell. The miner's job is to mine the best load they can, as fast as they can. The hauler swaps bags until they have a full 64 SCU load, then refine and sell. The fighter's goal is to protect the workers long enough for them to run away. Not with their lives, but more importantly, run away with their money. For simplicity's sake, you can divide the profit evenly among your friends. However, that won't be applicable for everyone, so make up your own business model. There are basically 4 different types of fighting: brawling, kiting, sniping, and jousting. Brawling is simply hitting the other guy harder than they hit you. The stronger fighter wins. Kiting is hitting the other guy while preventing them from hitting you. The faster fighter wins. Sniping is hitting someone that can't immediately fight back. The smarter fighter wins. Jousting is hitting someone while you're running at and then past them. The luckier fighter wins. The Buccaneer is built for jousting because Drake ships are designed for forward movement, not so much in the other 5 directions. If it helps paint a picture, think of the Buccaneer as an off-brand, but lore-accurate, X-Wing fighter without the hero ship treatment it has gotten for the past 50 years. Something cheap, easy to mass-produce in secret, train, fix, and operate for a low-budget org. Anyway, you don't fight with honor, you don't fight with skill, you fight by making the fight unfair for the enemy. There is no honor in murder, no glory in war. It is a necessary evil because the alternative is your own death. Remember, war is not the goal, you're just there to make money. Blowing people up is just a bonus. So how do you make a fight unfair in a luck-based combat tactic? You cheat. Not by hacking, but by stacking the deck and leave nothing to chance. It's cheating to play with 5 aces, but it's not cheating to shuffle the deck of cards in your favor. So how do you do this mechanically in Star Citizen? You have a wingman and you tag team joust the target at alternating angles and timing. As a bonus, you can add a missile boat to the equation, specifically the Drake Herald. The Herald prefers the sniping style. The Herald will never see the light of day as a data runner, or whatever the original selling pitch was. However, it is a decent, cheap stealth missile bomber. For the same price of a Buccaneer, you can make all of your bad flying friends competent warriors. As long as they can fly in and out of a hangar without blowing up, they have enough skill to fly a Herald. Now I must emphasize, bombers are not a replacement for fighters. You still need 1 or 2 good pilots. Also, missiles have become unaffordable, so while this technique of arming noobs used to be good, it isn't practical nowadays. I'll shortcut how radar works. CS, or cross-section, determines when people show up as pixie dust whenever you ping. You cannot change the cross-section signature. IR, infrared, EM, electromagnetic signatures determine when a player shows up on radar. These signals can be reduced below 3 kilometers on average, even for non-stealth ships using stealth components, and by turning off weapons and shields, and life support, and using minimal power on thrusters, radar, and 1 cooler. Even a medium-sized ship can sneak up on people. A really good player with a powerful enough PC will just use their eyes. A radar is not required to see ships flying. If you are in space, take note of how obvious you are. If you are on a planet or moon, fly low to the ground so dumb people will assume your pixie dust is just another rock signature. You can shoot your missiles while your weapons are turned off, meaning you can shoot missiles 10 kilometers away on people who maxed out their own signature, and they won't even be able to see you. You don't need to buy a $300 Eclipse to try stealth bombing. For simplicity's sake, I recommend Tempest missiles for PvP and Rattlers for PvE, and make sure you wait until your target has no shield so you do full damage if you manage to get a hit. The way missiles work as of now is that cross-section missiles are harder to lock on, but are harder to ignore. Assume electromagnetic and infrared missiles will be wasted ammo on a player if they are good enough to spam flares. Missiles used to be good, but now are only useful for distracting enemy pilots. Think throwing a banana peel at the enemy's feet while they are busy fighting someone else. Anyway, back to the Buccaneer standard procedure. When you joust, you do not turn around until you leave gun reach. Your wingman will then attack and distract the target, forcing them to turn towards your wingman, allowing you to turn around and attack again safely. You and your wingman take turns bullying the enemy until they run away or lose. The goal is to make all of your enemy's choices bad choices, so they end up being the one gambling and not you. That's why it's a luck-based tactic, because your enemy has to be lucky to win against your properly prepared victory. Personally, I use attritions, rattlers, and stealth components. However, it appears attritions have been nerfed by 50%, and reclaiming a ship costs thousands of dollars. The thing about CF repeaters is that you can combine them with distortion repeaters, and basically tickle people to death. Attritions was just pure damage, so as long as you didn't miss, you could out DPS your target's shield. Since that is no longer the case, know that I'll be experimenting with civilian components since the whole point of Drake ships is that they are supposed to be dirt cheap, and I'll be trying MX laser cannons since it is the only way to counter "you must be this tall or I" armor system. Anyway, Drake is not for people that need a commercial to tell them what car to buy. Drake is for the working man that wants an affordable spaceship. And with that, you have a basic idea of how to make fake space money with the Drake starter pack.
Shield offline. Shield system is hit. Shield system is hit. Shield system is hit. Congratulations, target